Hello friends, I am CA Parikshit Badade. I welcome all of you to this bank audit series. In this video, we are covering up NPA in term loans. All of wondering why NPA in term loans? It's a very set topic. But friends, let me clarify you various difficulties in calculating of the NPA in term loans. In this video, we are covering the basic issues of NPA in term loan, then certain specific issues, and at the last I have covered the case studies. So friends, let's begin the topic today's NPA in term loan. So friends, as per RBI circular dated 1st July 2015 on IROC norm, income recognition and asset classification norms, a term loan becomes NPA when interest and or installment of principal remain overdue for a period of more than 90 days. So whenever we are seeing on the face line, it is very clearly mentioned that if any EMI is overdue for more than 90 days, the accounts become an NPA. Now the EMI may be or installment may be of the interest, or it may be of the principal, or it may be of the both. So the norms are very clear, but how to calculate exactly these norms as on 31st March? It becomes very difficult to find out NPA in term loans. So before going exactly to find out the NPA, first we will understand the definition of the installment. Friends, there are two types of installment prevalent in the banking system. First one is the principal amount installment. So in this category, suppose if you are taken 1 lakh rupees loan and is supposed is to be paid in 10 EMI. So in that case, the principal amount will be 10,000 rupees per monthly installment plus interest. So in this terminology, the installment is called as the principal amount only, and interest is to be paid as and when due. On the second contrary, the most prevalent is equated monthly installment, meaning that the all installment are of the same amount. First installment, second installment, last installment. All installment will be of the same amount, but the component of principal and interest will go on change with every installment. So in the first case, the installment will be different for each month. Initially, the installment will be of more amount. At last, it will be reducing. But in EMI, the installment will be the same for over the 10-year period. Only the component will change. Initially, the principal repayment will be low, interest will be high, and at the last of the 10-year, the principal amount will be more and interest part will be low. So whenever we are calculating NPA in term loan, first understand type of installment. बैंक ने जो इंस्टॉलमेंट सेट किया है वो कौन से टाइप का है, whether it is EMI type or it is of principal type. Now on the face, if we take SMA report, SMA means special mention report, special mention accounts. All banks having the system of classifying the accounts as SMA, special mention accounts. SMA is further categorized in SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2, meaning that if account is in overdue position, if it is up to 30 days, it is classified as 0, SMA 0. If it is 31 to 60, it is classified as SMA 1. And if it is overdue for more than 61 days, up to 90 days, then it is SMA 2. So these factors are a warning factor for the banks that the account is in SMA. We have to take certain steps for recovery. Otherwise, this account will turn into NPA. Once the account is in SMA up to 90 days, the account will shift to NPA. Friends, if we take an SMA report and we can classify the accounts which are SMA above 90 days, then these accounts will be classified as NPA. So overdues above 90 days will be classified as NPA in term loans. So if we take the date 31st March 2020, EMI recovered up to 2nd January 2020 if all EMI due up to 2nd January 2020 are recovered, then we will call this account is a performing asset. If a single rupee is pending in EMI up to 2nd January 2020, then we will call this account as non-performing. Friends, in banking system, if overdue report is perfectly generated, then as an auditor, our problem of term loan NPA will be very simple. Just taking an overdue report or SMA report on record, analyzing the SMA and overdue report, we can find out the NPA. But during audit, we observe that there are certain n number of factors which are affecting the true and fair view of the overdue report. Just I have classified certain things over here. CBS parameters. Overdue report or SMA report is generated from the CBS system. So it will take all the parameters, whatever fed in the CBS systems. Whenever we are doing the audit, we observe that there are certain mistakes done while feeding in the system. Certain time the moratorium date is not properly set. For example, if the moratorium period is given 1 year, suppose the loan is given on the 1st January 2018 and moratorium is 1 year. So the repayment should start on 1st January 2019. But while writing or feeding in the system, the details mentioned as 1st January 2020. So the CBS system will generate overdue report considering the moratorium period up to 1st January 2020. But in fact, the account should get a repayment from 1st January 2019. So as per us, the account will be in NPA. But as per the system, the account is very regular. It will not included in SMS 0 also. Then EMI not properly set. EMI means equated monthly installment, meaning that if loan is taken for X amount and EMIs are paid for a tenure, whatever decided, at the end of the tenure, the account balance will get 0. So the EMI is a properly set amount. But while calculating during the sanction process, if there are certain mistakes happen at the bank end or officer end and EMI is not properly set. Suppose the EMI as per the calculation should be 10,000 rupees and the EMI set by the credit officer is suppose 7,000 rupees. And the borrower is paying very regularly 7,000 rupees each month. But when we calculate at the end of the tenure, the account should be nil. But as per this calculation mistake, the account will not get 0. So if this EMI is not properly set by the credit officer, it will also amount for NPA classification. In CBS system, the EMI will take whatever as per the credit officer note. But as per the EMI is different. So this will amount to classification as NPA even though account is not in a SMA category. One more thing, there are certain charges the bank is debiting to the term loan account like inspection charges, processing charges, insurance account, and these amounts has to be recovered in cash by the banks, meaning that these amounts are not burden on the EMI amount. Whenever these amounts are debited to account, this should be immediately recovered. But during audit, we observe that n number of times these amounts are not recovered by the bank officer, amounting to our EMI amount just get to this amount. So there is a shortfall in our regular EMI recovery. EMI not paid on time. Friends, the basic funda of EMI is that EMI should be paid on a due date, particular due date. And then only the whole calculation of EMI will survive. Meaning that if your EMI is due on 5th of each month, so you should pay your liability on the 5th of each month exactly for whole tenure. If you repay, suppose 5th EMI on 20th of the date, so there will be 15 days extra interest will be charged to your account, and that will not be recovered by your existing EMI. And whenever we are doing the audits of the nationalized banks, we find out n number of times EMIs are not paid on proper time. They are paying the EMI. Suppose if the bank has decided EMI of rupees 15,000 rupees, the borrower will pay 15,000 each month, but the payment date is not fixed by him. Suppose the due date fixed by the bank is 5th of the next month, but sometimes he is paying on 10th, sometimes he is paying on 15th, sometimes he is paying on 20th. So this additional getting delayed period will be charged extra interest, and that will amount to NPA classification as per our observation, while it will not amount to SMA as per bank. Certain times the rate of interest is also changed by the bank without corresponding change in the EMI. If the interest rate is increased, to cope up that excess interest, bank should change the EMI, bank should increase the EMI. But if the EMI is not increased by the bank, then that also amounts to a difference between SMA as per the bank calculations and NPA as per us. So friends, first of all of you have got an idea that SMA report will not help you much. And even I will confirm you that there are n number of accounts we are finding in during the audit as a NPA, but the bank is not even showing it is overdue, because the overdue depend on n number of above things which I have explained. But we will check the NPA as per the ideal situation. Now you will ask me what to do, sir, in this situation. Friends, we have to take a practical approach for this, how we will calculate NPA in term loan. So I have just given a sample approach how we can calculate the NPA in term loan, but there are n number of methods. You have to take the samples for verification and detailed verification to be done in the sample cases, and you have to derive the NPA as per your sample cases. Just I have given a practical approach for this particular case. It is my opinion for finding out the term loan NPA. Each auditor may have their different methodology, but in total, the basic thing is that all are deriving the samples only. So whatever samples we have to take for NPA verification will come from this practical analysis. So first we will take a deep in this particular practical approach. First of all, take the complete list of the outstanding balances in term loan account. Then classify this list into the different category, meaning that differentiate housing loan a different list, vehicle loan different, term loan different, other loans in different category. So classify all the term loans into different categories. Then find out the ratio of outstanding balance to the sanction limit, meaning that if you are taken a 1 lakh rupees loan and outstanding balance is 80,000, meaning that you have paid 20% of your debt towards the principal amount. So find out this ratio. So you will come to know with this analysis that certain loans are paid certain percentage of the sanction limit. Then I will suggest that take sanction date to the current date. Suppose loan is sanctioned on 1st January 2016 and current date is 31st March 20. So almost 4 year 3 months period has been lapsed. So take an analysis for this period to our outstanding balance. अगर 4 साल हो चुके हैं तो कितना परसेंटेज डेब्ट का कम होना चाहिए था. Compare this with the tenure of the loan. Friends, take all this data in Excel and do certain analysis. There is no exact method to find out term loan NPA. In this analysis, just we will get a sample list that depending on our analysis, we will get that certain accounts are in red flag, certain accounts, certain amount accounts will have to be to certain amount as per our calculation, but this is not as per the actual outstanding balance. Take that list, then find out certain additional information for this account. Obtain sanction date, EMI amount, rate of interest, moratorium period, tenure of the loan, and actual outstanding balance. These 5 things very important to find out the actual NPA in term loan. With these all figures, we can conclude one step ahead. So With this, we can compare the theoretical outstanding balance as per our calculation and actual outstanding balance as per the record of recovery of the borrower. If these two balance we have to compare, if theoretical outstanding balance is in excess of actual outstanding balance, meaning that as per our EMI, as per tenure, certain account, suppose that account is sanctioned on 1st January 2016 and today's date is 31st March 20. Considering a proper record of recovery, that is all the EMIs are paid on due date, as per amortization table, outstanding balance as on 31st March should be rupees 1,20,000. And if the actual outstanding balance is 1 lakh rupees. So in that case, we can say that the borrower has paid more than the required amount. So the account will not be in a NPA position. But if there is a vice versa situation, that actual outstanding balance is 1,40,000 and theoretical outstanding balance is 1,20,000. So we can say that the 20,000 is overdue in the account divided by number of EMI will be your EMI overdue. So friends, my suggestion to all of you that we have to do a reverse working for the term loan. As on 31st March, we have to find out the theoretical outstanding balance in each and every account, whatever we take the sample, compare with the actual outstanding balance. Again, this will give you a judgment for the NPA indication. Before going to actual NPA accounts, my suggestion, go with the physical verification of the file. Find out all the things from the file sanction note and then mark the NPA account. Summarizing all this, you have come to know that if we have not to follow the SMA report, to calculate NPA and term loan would be a big critical sum. So friends, in this situation, we have to do a lot of analysis in Excel. I have just given the certain step how the analysis can be done. Now we will move further for the other issues. Key issues in the term loan, SMA versus NPA I have explained. Concept of theoretical outstanding balance versus actual outstanding balance, that also explained. Now NPA debt. NPA has to be marked on daily basis. Certain misconceptions are there, the NPA to be marked on 31st March or quarter end, some say at the month end. But whenever EMI due, if it is not paid in 90 days, the account has to be marked as NPA. So the precise definition is 90 days only. Upgradation of the account, once the account is classified in the NPA, once the account is classified into NPA, it cannot be upgraded until all overdues are recovered in the account. So once all overdues are recovered, then and then only the account will be classified in a standard position. Interest reversal, again, it will be a very critical for finding out unrealized interest. There are some different methods to calculate unrealized interest in term loan. But basically what I will suggest over here is that calculate the EMI overdue. Suppose it come to 3 months, 4 months, whatsoever. Calculate theoretical outstanding balance with actual outstanding balance. Whatever difference will be that will, I will suggest, it will be a interest overdue. And that is unrealized interest. That unrealized interest need to be reversed. If during the period of the loan, certain changes are made by the bank manager, suppose the loan tenure, EMI or rate of interest is changed by the bank manager, to safeguard that particular account from not becoming an NPA. Friends, this situation will be called as restructuring. If any changes are done by the bank manager in the loan account, then that account has to be classified one step down, meaning that standard account has to be stepped down to substandard account. And these account changes has to be done only in the case of financial difficulty of the borrower. If the accounts are in the MSME category, we have to see the MSME circular. If this MSME restructuring is done, then the asset downgradation will not be there. COVID-19, I have dealt COVID-19 a separately issue. But if the March EMI is not paid, in COVID-19, the moratorium is granted for the COVID-19 cases if the borrower has taken the benefit of the given by the COVID regulatory package. Security value, if at the time of sanction, security value is suppose 10 crore rupees, but after certain situation, again revaluation is done due to certain factors, and if the security value come to suppose 8 crore rupees. So earlier it was 10 crore, now 8 crore. There is a 20% variation. There will be no impact on NPA classification. But if that valuation come to below 50% of the last time sanction, suppose it's come to 4 crore rupees, then friends, the account will go into substandard category directly, doubtful category directly, without seeing the record of recovery. Meaning that if the security value earlier assumed and now taken, if it is less than 50%, then the account will fall into doubtful category without seeing the record of recovery. If it is below 10% of the outstanding balance, suppose the outstanding balance is suppose 10 crore rupees and security value come to below 1 crore, 10% below of the outstanding balance. In that situation, the account will shift directly to the loss category. Then DCCO in the case of project loan, if DCCO date is there and if DCCO date is extended, the account will remain the standard till the commercial production is started. In banks, there are certain staff loans in which the recovery of principal is done first and interest is recovered later on. So in those cases, the interest will be taken later on. Earlier, we have to see only the principal amount. In COVID cases, we have to see that to give the moratorium benefit of the 3 EMI in case of term loan in COVID regulatory package, the account should be in standard category as on 29 February 2020. So to giving any benefit for the COVID regulatory package, the account should be in a standard category. Friends, to summarize all these issues, I have taken certain case studies. We will go for the case studies, then we will get a detailed analysis of the term loan NPA. Coming to the first case study, in case of term loan account, borrower has taken a loan of 5 lakh. The EMI is due date is 7th of each month. EMI of rupees 15,000 per month. Borrower had paid the EMI till November regularly. That is, EMI falling due on 7th November is paid. Please comment on the NPA date. Friends, now in this situation, all the EMIs up to 7th November is paid by the borrower. Next EMI will due on the 7th of the December. 7th December EMI is not paid by him. So the first date of overdue will be of 7th December. 7 दिसंबर को हफ्ता ड्यू हो जाएगा, वो हफ्ता उसने नहीं भरा हुआ है, तो फर्स्ट डे ऑफ ओवरड्यू विल बी 7th December. So from 7th December we have to calculate the 90 days. यहाँ पे हमें समझने की जरूरत है कि 90 दिन कैलकुलेट करने, 3 महीने नहीं. So from 7th December to 31st December, almost it will be 25 days. January 31st days. February 29, since it's a leap year. So 29 plus 31, it will be 60 days, 25 days, 85 days. And on 5th day, 5th of the March, the 90 days will be over. So on the 90 days, if the account is remain in overdue position for 90 days, the account will be classified as NPA. So NPA process is on daily basis. So NPA date should be. So whenever we are finding out NPA in any case, the exact NPA date to be mentioned in MOCs. Let's go with the second case study. In a term loan, the borrower has prepaid the 10-month EMI in the month of June and subsequently has not paid any amount to the credit of the term loan. Would that account required to be classified NPA as on 31st March 2020 due to the non-servicing of the interest. यहाँ पे समझने की जरूरत है कि बोरोवर ने जून 2019 से लेके मार्च 2020 तक 10 हफ्ते ड्यू होते हैं, उसने 10 के 10 हफ्ते एडवांस में जमा कर दी, और एडवांस में जमा करने की वजह से as on 31st March 2020 there will be no overdues and the account will be in a standard category. और यहाँ पे आपको इंटरेस्ट नहीं देखना है, यहाँ पे अपने को देखना है EMI सर्व हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ, because the EMI is inclusive of the interest part. So EMI will cover both principal as well as interest. So in this situation, the account will be in a performing stage because all EMIs due up to 31st March 2020 are already recovered in the month of June 19. So after that, even though he has not paid a single rupee, the account will remain in a standard category. Now, third case, this case is about upgradation of the account and how it will impact the NPAs on 31st March 2020. So I will read the first case study. A term loan account has 5 EMIs overdue on October 19, meaning that October 19 में 5 EMI overdue थे. So on October 19 itself, we have marked the said account as NPA. यहाँ पे बैंक ने उसे NPA बताया है, नहीं बताया, doesn't matter for us. As per us, in the account was in October 19, it is in NPA. Subsequently, there is a partial recovery. थोड़ी बहुत recovery चलती गई. However, one installment have always remained overdue for the rest of the period till March 20. So sum up करना कोशिश करूंगा मैं, मार्च 2020 में एक ही हफ्ता overdue है और अक्टूबर 19 में 5 हफ्ते overdue थे. तो बैंक मैनेजर हमेशा बोलने की यही कोशिश करेंगे, सर 3 हफ्ते तक तो अकाउंट एनपीए में नहीं जाता है और मार्च 2020 में एक ही हफ्ता overdue है. Friends, my opinion will be different over here. Once the account shifted to NPA, अक्टूबर 2019 में अकाउंट एक बार NPA में चला गया है और अकाउंट NPA में जाने के बाद जब तक पूरी रिकवरी नहीं होती, मींस एट सर्टेन स्टेज ऑफ द टाइम द होल ओवरड्यू शुड बी 0 रुपीज. बट इस सिचुएशन में एक हफ्ता ऑलवेज रिमेन ओवरड्यू, सो दिस अकाउंट विल बी इन NPA ओनली. नेक्स्ट, इसी केस स्टडी में थोड़ा चेंजेस किया है मैंने. थर्ड केस स्टडी में एक हफ्ता हमेशा ओवरड्यू था. फोर्थ केस स्टडी में मैंने ऐसा बताया है कि 15 जनवरी 2020 को पिछले जितने भी ओवरड्यूज थे वो सब रिकवर हो गए. मीनिंग दैट ऑन 15 जनवरी, even though the account is classified in October 2019 as NPA, on 15 January, once he pay all the overdues, the account has to be shifted to performing immediately. यहाँ पे satisfactory performance, satisfactory period will not be applicable because the account is in regular course. If it is a case of restructuring, then we have to wait for 1 year. But this is the normal case. So in this case, the account will become on 15 January as a regular account, that is performing account. Then he has not paid 2 EMI. So as on 31st March 2020, there are only 2 EMI overdue. So the account will not be in NPA. Now, next is an interesting case study. It has two views. Madan and company has a term loan for purchase of machinery 5 crore rupees on 13 September 2019. Repayment की terms शुरू होने वाली थी 1 दिसंबर 2019 से. However, the party has not serviced the interest debited and the repayment is also not made till 28 February 2020. फिर in a routine process, the branch has obtained the RO sanction and altered the repayment period to start from 2nd May 2020. Earlier repayment शुरू होने वाला था 1 दिसंबर 2019 को, अभी repayment शुरू होगा 2 मई 2020 को. Decide asset classification. फ्रेंड्स, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सोचने की जरूरत है अपने को. यहाँ पे अपने को देखना है कि ये जो टर्म लोन लिया है, मशीनरी के लिए लिया है, यहाँ पे डेट ऑफ कमर्शियल प्रोडक्शन की डेट क्या है, डेट ऑफ कमेंसमेंट ऑफ कमर्शियल प्रोडक्शन. अगर वो डेट आना बाकी है, कुछ रीजन के वजह से अगर वो डेट एक्सटेंड होती है, देन द अकाउंट विल रिमेन स्टैंडर्ड कैटेगरी. जस्ट इट अ सिंगल पार्ट ऑफ द केस स्टडी. सो अगर कोई प्रोजेक्ट लोन है, जैसे फैक्ट्री लोन लग रहा है यहाँ पे, और फैक्ट्री का कुछ कमर्शियल प्रोडक्शन पहले 1 दिसंबर को शुरू होने वाला था, बट ड्यू टू सर्टेन सिचुएशन द प्रोजेक्ट इज गेट डिलेड, and if it is going to start after May and the RO had changed on that terms on 2nd May, if the all documents with this respects are on record, the account will remain in standard category. But just the commercial production has already started in December month, but he is not able to pay the debts. The bank has done the just changes in the repayment period. Then this will amount to restructuring. And once we say it is a restructuring, then the account has to be classified as substandard. स्टैंडर्ड कैटेगरी में रहेगा तो सब स्टैंडर्ड में जाएगा. सो इन केस ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट लोन वी आल्सो सी द डेट ऑफ कमर्शियल प्रोडक्शन, कब शुरू होने वाला. नाउ नेक्स्ट केस स्टडी, अक्षय हैज अवेल द टर्म लोन फॉर परचेस ऑफ कार लोन. कार लेने के लिए उसने 10 लाख का लोन लिया है. उसने 31 मार्च को 2 हफ्ते नहीं भरे, बट ड्यूरिंग द वेरिफिकेशन ऑफ द फाइल वी ऑब्जर्व दैट द कार हैज बीन स्टोलन. Decide the asset classification as on 31st March 2020. A very typical case, but sometimes it may happen that there is a fire in a factory and the assets are damaged to a very large extent. Such situation can be compared with this situation. Friends, in this case, the account has to be classified as a loss asset because security value will be 0. Earlier, the car loan is completely secured with the security of the hypothecation charge on the car, but now car is stolen, so there is no security in the case. So the security valuation is below 10% of the outstanding balance. 10 लाख का outstanding balance पकड़ रहा हूं मैं, 1 लाख के नीचे security value है, so the account has to be classified in a loss asset. Next case, Mohan's EMI is due on 5th of the each month. He has paid EMI on 5th December. After that, he has not made any payment. In COVID regulatory package, he has consented for the moratorium benefit. So all the EMIs falling due between the 1st March 2020 to 31st May 2020 has been postponed. Comment on the consequence NPA and provisioning in this case. जैसे कि आप सबको मैंने पहले ही बताया कि COVID-19 रेगुलेटरी पैकेज, यहाँ पे अपने को सबसे पहला कंडीशन देखना है 29 फरवरी 2020 को अकाउंट स्टैंडर्ड है क्या. इट मे बी सीन दैट इट मे बी ओवरड्यू बट इट शुड बी स्टैंडर्ड. सो 5th दिसंबर का उसने EMI भर दिया है, उसके बाद नहीं भरा है. सो द नेक्स्ट EMI ही हैज नॉट पेड इज 5th जनवरी, 5th फरवरी. सो 2 EMI he has not paid. So as on 29 February the account will be in a standard category. The first point is clear. Now he has taken the moratorium benefit given by the bank as per the RBI circular. So the 29 February position will be continued up to 31st May. So 29 February position account is standard. Up to 31st May the account will be in a standard position. So as on 31st March the account will be in a standard position. Now the second situation, provisioning norm. RBI ने 17 अप्रैल के सर्कुलर में कहा गया है अगर अकाउंट स्टैंडर्ड है बट असेट क्लासिफिकेशन का बेनिफिट अगर आप एक्सटेंड कर रहे हो तो उस केस में आपको प्रोविजन करना जरूरी है. नाउ इन दिस केस 5th January's installment is not paid, so I will take 5th February, 5th March and 5th April. So approximate 4th or 5th April the account will be in NPA. So as on 31st March the account is not in NPA category in normal case also. So the provisioning requirement is not to be done as on 31st March. But as on 5th April, the account will shift on NPA. So in the June quarter, the bank has to do 10% provision in this account as per the RBI circular. Friends, I have tried my best to cover the case studies for the term loan. Even though if you have any questions, any queries, you may contact me on this my mobile number or email ID. Friends, thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, please like and share the video. And if till date you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe the YouTube channel for more informative video. In the next video, I am coming up with the NPA norms in cascade accounts. Thank you friends once again for watching this video.